Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Mr. President.
Here. Please rise for the pledge and remarks by myself. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd just like to express our thoughts and prayers for the people of Ukraine today. I want to say that I've appreciated the show of support from the City Parks Department with the lighting of the Bob Carey Bridge and the support of the state, with the lighting of the state capitol and the many displays of support amongst our citizens for what's happening in that country right now. 72nd and Dodge, for example, had a number of citizens turn out in support and in concern of what they've observed on TV and CNN every day, and certainly that we find bothersome in this country. I also want to pray for peace in this time of Easter and in this holiday season. Thank you.
An affidavit of publication is on file for the pre-council and city council meeting, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of legislative chambers.
Thank you. We'll take a moment here before we start to allow Councilmember Melton to announce her guest that's with us today.
Hi, I just want to say I have Kathleen here, senior at Gross High School, who is interested in going into business, right? And where are you going to go to college?
University of Mary in Bismarck.
In Bismarck, and she's also interested in government. And I would say that the one thing I think most government, we have Mr. Curtis, I don't know if he's here today, but I think government could use very smart business accounting people who help with finance. So I think it's an excellent thing to go into. So welcome Kathleen, who's been shadowing me all day. So thank you.
Welcome, Kathleen. We appreciate you having here and appreciate your interest in local government. We'll have you be the 8th council member today, but you can't vote, okay? All right. Welcome everyone else to this afternoon of the City Council's agenda. We have a full agenda today. We appreciate your inputs on all these items we have and look forward to hearing from you. Please turn your cell phones off or to vibrate.
Items 6 through 10 can be considered together for the Hill, located northeast of 168th and State Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Items 6 through 8 are ordinances to rezone this property from AG District to DR District, R4 District, and R5 District. Item 9, a resolution to approve the final plat. Item 10, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
Public hearings and votes today are on items number 6 through 10. Proponents, please.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, Larry Jobin, 11440 West Center Road, appearing on behalf of the applicant. Simply here to answer any questions. This is phase 2 of the subdivision called The Hill at the northeast corner of 168th and State.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearings closed. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 6 through 10 are approved, 7-0. Item 11, an ordinance to rezone property located at 1828 Sailor Street from GI District to R5 District. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing and vote on number 11 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearings closed. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved, 7-0. Item 12, an ordinance to rezone property located at 8121 Grant and 8206 Burdette Streets from R2 District and R3 District to R3 District. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing and vote on number 12 is today. Proponents, please. Mr. Dreesen.
Mr. President, members of the council, Doug Dreesen, 10836 Old Mill Road, appearing on behalf of the applicant to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearings closed. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 12 is approved, 7-0. Item 13, an ordinance to approve a PUR overlay district located southeast of 6th and Woolworth Streets and to approve the development plan. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing and vote on number 13 is today. Proponents, please.
Kyle Hazy with excuse me, Kyle Hazy with E&A Consulting Group, 10909 Mill Valley Road, representing the applicant. Piece of property that we is in subject today is located in the south east corner, as outlined here, of 6th and Woolworth. It is currently zoned R7. We're requesting PUR overlay on the property. The proposed use is for 24 two-bedroom units in 2 separate buildings with parking in the middle and some on-street parking to meet the requirements as per the parking code. These buildings will 2-story units that will step down the hill to meet the grade. The current site right now is vacant and is overgrown with trees and has had some trash build up on that as well. With that, I'll make myself available for any questions that council may have.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Motion approved.
Roll call.
Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 13 is approved, 7-0. Item 14, to consider a Class C liquor license for Koji located 8718 Pacific Street. A's communication from the Planning Department regarding permits for the outdoor area.
Public hearing and vote on number 14 is today. Proponents, please.
Hello, David Utterback, 5917 North 110th Circle.
Thanks, David. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Motion approved. Subject to permits. Second.
Motion and a second. Before I call roll call, I look forward to seeing you take over this location as
Yeah.
well, and appreciate all you do in Benson.
Yeah, we're excited to be a part of another community.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do there.
It's going to be a full-service sushi restaurant, much like the one in Benson, but this one has a kitchen, so we'll be actually able to cook things. But yeah, it's just a little small full-service restaurant.
Well, if we're able to have 2 restaurants that are like Yoshitomo, that'll be quite a thing for our city, so look
Hopefully
forward to it. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
There's been a request to remove number 16 from the consent agenda, so first we'll handle number 15. Is there a motion on number 15, seeing as the public hearing was already held on March 1st? Motion and a second. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 15 is approved, 7-0. Item 16 is an ordinance to amend various sections of Chapter 30 and to add new sections 30-38 and 30-39 of the Omaha Municipal Code pertaining to catalytic converters.
Thank you. Mr. Palermo, you're recognized.
I just wanted to make a motion to lay this over for 1 week to March 15th.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call. Ms. Melton.
Just wanted to make a comment. I support the layover, but for the public who I know is very upset, and I appreciate this ordinance very much, upset about the increase in the catalytic converter thefts in, I think, all 7 of our districts. The entire city is being affected by this. But I think the layover is just to make sure we have all the language maybe correct, and there may be some modifications in the language, but it's not going to substantially affect the ordinance. And I think we intend to move forward next week. I just didn't want the general public to think there was going to be some issue with moving this forward.
Thank you. Mr. Palermo, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad you clarified that. You're exactly right. We do intend to move forward with this, but there are other sides that didn't get the message, and they did have some concerns. We do want to get this right. It's very important to get it right. We want to get it right the first time. So if there is some small language adjustments that the law department and the Omaha Police Department would agree upon, then I'm sure we can come to a resolution to move this forward next week. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm glad you both clarified that. And I would only add that I'm very supportive of moving forward with this too. The catalytic converter issue is a big one in our community that needs to get addressed. I too am willing to wait one more week as they engage the salvage dealers that are involved in this solution. I think that is appropriate. And we did do that the first time when we created this ordinance initially in 2016. So if there are improvements we can make to the catalytic converter section of it, I would be supportive of that. But I would also say I'm not going to support anything that changes the current ordinance that has worked well and has returned stolen property to its rightful owners. I may not be here next week for this potential vote, so I wanted to make that clear, and we'll be in contact with my council members about that. There's a motion and a second to lay over 1 week. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson.
Yes.
Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
The public hearings on agenda items 17 through 25 are today. If you wish to address the council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by name, address, and who you represent, and if you are a proponent or an opponent. Seeing none, public hearings are closed. Ms. Johnson, did you have your light on? No. Okay. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Item 26, an ordinance to approve the contract with DPS LLC for the transportation of sludge cake biosolids, Missouri River Water Resource Recovery Facility, and Papillion Creek WRRF project at an estimated annual cost of $1,883,700. A is communication and support, B is communication opposition, C is documentation from the Public Works Department.
The public hearing on number 26 was already held. Are there any questions or a motion from the City Council? Motion and a second. No further lights. Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 26 is approved 7-0. Item 27, an ordinance to approve a streetscape maintenance agreement with Millwork District 1 LLC.
Public hearing on number 27 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none. Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 28, an ordinance to accept the bid of Miller & Sons golf cars in the total amount of $311,600 for 144 gas-powered golf cars.
Public hearing on number 28 is today. Proponents, please. Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 29, an ordinance to amend certain portions of ordinance number 10308 by repealing the assessment on the property located at 4632 Ames Avenue and to add the assessment on the property located at 4467 Kansas Avenue.
Public hearing on number 29 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 30, an ordinance to approve a one-year agreement with CHI Health to provide for an employee assistance program.
Public hearing on number 30 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. Deb Zander, City Human Resources, here to answer any questions.
And Kristen Cavill, City Benefits Manager, here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 31, an ordinance to approve an agreement with the Nebraska Preparedness Partnership in the amount of $66,000 and to authorize the funding for such agreement from the fiscal year 2021 State Homeland Security Grant.
Public hearing on number 31 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 32, an ordinance to approve a services agreement with Meetings Database Institute for database support and intelligence services in the amount not to exceed $49,800 per year.
Public hearing on number 32 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. Deborah Ward with the Omaha Convention and Visitors Bureau, 306 South 10th Street. And my city council committee wanted me to do a short 30-minute presentation. No. They said, you're even going to talk? I said, yes. This is for Meetings Database Institute for $49,800 for 1 year with an option to extend for 2 years. This is a company that we use to analyze our sales database and develop strategies for when and what type of convention, meeting, and sport business We go after which market segments are performing better, and they help us also find new business. They also help us set our sales pace. In fact, they're coming in about a couple weeks, Kath? A couple weeks to do a presentation for our hotels, so they also understand the markets or segments.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents?
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha, 68132. I'm basically opposed to number 32 and number 3 because in a time where we're all going to be tightening the purse strings, I don't think we need to be spending this money. We citizens have to do a lot of things by Zoom now. I think this, whatever the word intelligence actually means, and promotion of Omaha can be done by Zoom. And certainly we've had some qualified people that have moved out of Omaha to these areas that we can maybe market to have represent us while they're already there. $99,000, this is for number 32 and 33, is a lot of money. And we have people that are screaming about affordable housing, even last night on the TV news. It's young couples that can't afford it in Omaha anymore because the prices are going up so fast. We heard a long presentation about that last week in the Douglas County Board meeting. I don't know how a lot of older people like myself are going to be able to stay. We certainly can't downsize and go to a different house without paying triple what we already own. So something needs to be done because we're going to be completely out of money, and now we have maybe a war to fight. So tighten the strings up, please.
Thank you. Any other opponents today? Seeing none, public hearing's closed.
Item 33, an ordinance to approve a contract services agreement with Tally Management Group, Inc. to promote Omaha as a premier destination for conventions and meetings.
Public hearing on number 33 is today. Proponents, please.
Hi, Deborah Ward with the Omaha Convention and Visitors Bureau, 306 South 10th Street. This is another one-year agreement with an option to extend for 2 years. This is a partnership that provides us with office space in Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Those are the two top cities with the most meeting and convention planners. We share costs with Memphis, Birmingham, and Buffalo CVBs in order to have access to particular information about associations that have meetings across the country. You have to have a physical address in these two cities. This allows us to do it and share the costs with those other cities, so it cuts our costs. But more importantly, we also have joint events with our partner cities in which we target meeting planners together, again, cutting costs.
Thank you. Other proponents today?
With Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, and North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation. I'd like to say we've been trying to
Just your address, please, too.
4928 North 52nd. In 2 years, though, I'll be taking off with NASA and what's that fellow name? Elon Musk. We're going to Mars. I'll give you that address when I get back. But in the meantime, most of you folks or the young folks in Omaha, they wasn't born in 1963 and 64. I started coming to Omaha at 8 years old. And so we go back to that farm when we were for the summer back in Texas. But what the strangest thing that we've been trying to tell Peter Cubitt at the new area downtown, can you attach those paid toilets that we had to use when we came up here from Texas to Omaha? We've noticed that the outside potties are not working. So can you ask the planning department, because we were trying to get their attention, to reinstate that, because the pioneers are a little bit smarter than we was. They had paid toilets, and there was a reason for it. So can you actually, we told Miss Bridget Hadley, can you start looking into this? Because right now, it's just not working. The system is, and that's planning that Mrs. Ward is talking about, all these folks coming here to visit, and the College World Series, they would love to pay $1 to use a nice, clean place.
Okay, thank you. Any other proponents on number 33? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Non-action items, items 34 through 59, do not require public hearing or city council consideration at this meeting, but will be placed on a future agenda for public hearing and or vote. The reason for non-action is noted after the item on the agenda, as well as the date the item is expected to appear on agenda for consideration.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call.
Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Meeting is adjourned at 2:20.